In today's episode, we're going to be ranking 7 different rappers on a scale from 0 to 100 based on lyricism, flow, and more. And if you guys are new here, make sure to hit that subscribe button. And for all of the OG NFR fans, if you guys do want to support us through our YouTube memberships, they are now live. You guys can access it through the link in our description. And you guys can get custom emotes that you can use in our live streams, a nice cool badge next to your name within those live streams, as well as early access to 1 YouTube video per week. So thank you to all the members. But Ads, take me through the list of rappers we have.
7 different rappers going into today's episode. First one is Playboi Carti. Then we have Eminem, DaBaby, Lil Wayne, Jack Harlow, Denzel Curry, and Nicki Minaj.
This is going to be fun, man.
Absolutely. So let's start off with Playboi Carti.
What do you think I gave Carti?
I don't know. You're usually harsh in these episodes, and I know you value lyricism a lot. So I'd say maybe around that 72 area.
Ooh,
72.
wow.
You gave Travis.
You're shooting low.
Yeah, because you gave Travis a 79 here.
Yeah, okay, so that's off, but I'll guess you gave him like an 84. You were probably like, you know what? Fuck it, let me give him a nice rating.
No.
No?
I went to a decent rating.
Okay, ChatGPT, by the way, if you asked them, they'll actually give you a score on 100. They gave Carti an 80, which I found pretty fair.
Well, listen, that is going to be my exact score. I gave him an 80 as well, but let me go through my statistics. So lyricism, I had 57, and I guess this is based on like Carti's whole MO. He's not the most lyrical rapper, but you get into his music for different reasons. Then you have flow. I gave him an 84. I think this is one of the biggest aspects of his music. I love Carti's flow. I wanted to give it a higher rating. Then we have production. Pierre Bourne, Art Dealer, some of the best producers in the industry have taken care of Carti's projects. I gave it an 86. As far as versatility goes, I gave him an 83. And I think that he is versatile in the way that he's able to use certain flows or certain voices and create different atmospheres for albums. So I went with a decent score there. And then after that, discography, I went 84. So far, no misses. 3 for 3.
All right, before I pick at you and some of your ratings, let me go through mine. So for lyricism, I have a 60. And the thing is, though, you do get some lines on songs like Hop in the Tub and Wash My Little Balls where you're like, wow, okay, Sir Carti is actually a master wordsmith. But you don't get enough like that, to be honest with you. But all jokes aside, I think that Carti makes mood music. You don't really look at lyricism. But next up for flow, I actually have a 76. I think he strives more at his animated vocals and ad-libs. Flow is not really the strongest suit from him. Production, 86. Like you said, he has amazing soundscapes time and time again. Versatility, I went with 78. Yes, he has the vocal switches, but looking at his contemporaries in that SoundCloud scene like a Trippie Redd or an XXXTentacion, I don't believe he's as versatile as those kinds of guys. Next on my list, though, discography, I went with an 83. And yeah, one of the most inventive mixtapes with self-titled, amazing debut with Dilit, and an impactful album with Whole Lotta Red, so he deserves credit there. Overall score 77. Fair?
That's decent. That's a very decent
you
score.
gave a really high score for flow, and I don't feel like he strives at flow that
Well,
much.
I mean, I went above 8 on it, on top of yours, right? You went 76 on that one. Listen, this is where I think he strives. If you get certain songs, like let's say a number 9, or even a half and half, let's say on a self-titled, or then you go on to Dial-It, stuff like Love Hurts. You listen to all the different types of flow switches that he's capable of, and the way that he slices through all of those Pierre Bourne and Art Dealer beats. It's extremely impressive, and it's literally what carries his sound alongside his
delivery.
Yeah, it's his delivery. Exactly.
I think his delivery is just like stronger. Like, that's what really keeps me the most engaged. But let's now move on to Eminem. What do you think I gave Eminem on 100, man? This is one of the GOATs, okay? This is a serious
that's
one.
Good. I think you gave him a 91.
A 91?
What do you think I gave him?
I think you gave him a 92. I think we're going to be around the same playing field.
All right, what did
on this.
ChatGPT give him?
ChatGPT gave a 95. And you know what? I think it's a bit high.
I think it's a bit high.
I think ChatGPT just inflated the numbers, but whatever. It's Eminem. I get it. But yeah, take me through some of your scores.
All right. So lyricism, I went 98. Flow, I went 92. Production, I went to 85. Versatility, 78. And then the shocker on this list might be my discography, where I have him at an 89.
What the fuck,
Yeah,
man?
absolutely.
Oh.
I think that this is based on the fact that he has one of the best 3 album runs of all time. Yes, you could say stuff like Revival, Music to be Murdered By. Those are misses, but still, he has a lot of quality within his discography that people don't like to give him credit for, and some of the most impactful albums of all time lie within that discography. Go on to your ratings.
I'm going to get to
And by
that.
the way, I gave him an 89 overall.
Fair
I
overall
gave him an 89 overall.
Lyricism, I actually went a notch above you. I gave 99 as an overall score. And listen, Put him next to Shakespeare. Put him next to fucking Dr. Seuss. He is the best writer,
He's the
maybe,
guy.
that we've ever seen. And I love the fact that he always puts effort into lyrical exercises. Next up, flow. I gave a 93. I love that he has like these Venn diagram flows on a song like The Way I Am, where it's like a flow within a flow. Genius. Production, 84. Versatility is going to be 85 for me, which is much higher than yours. I think that when you
It's
look
not that
at
bad, though. It's
the
around the same
alter
ballpark.
egos, when you look at the different perspectives on songs like Darkness, when you're looking at the different production styles, the fact that he also produces some records, it's there. Discography, though, 82. Overall score, 89. But the biggest fucking issue that I have is the 89 for discography, brother.
I'm not gonna let 2 albums knock me down
It's more
20
than 2.
points.
It's more than 2, man.
It's come on. Are
You
you
have
ser-
Encore, then you have
Encore is
Revival,
not
and
a
Music
miss.
to be Murdered by.
Encore is not a miss. We're not even gonna
Absolutely.
get into that conversation. It's happened way too many times.
Kamikaze's not a great album either. It's good.
We've said
It's okay.
we've said how it's a good album. So what? You're really gonna give him 2 albums and then knock off 20 points? This guy has the greatest 3-album run of all time.
He
in
has
his
all-time
discography.
classics, but he also has
He has
albums
the
that are
greatest
stinkers.
3-album. I want you to repeat what I'm saying. It is the greatest 3-album run of all
Listen,
time.
I get
There
that,
is
but
no better 3-album run better than
I agree,
this one.
but it's a balancing act. You
Okay.
got to look at the whole
Okay, so
catalog
you want me to
here.
go on to a concept record like a Relapse with fantastic production?
Marshall Mathers LP2.
You want to talk about Recovery? That has songs on it as well. That was a major album for him too. I don't think it's fair to say, okay, Music to be Murdered by and Revival, let's knock off a quick 20 points there. It
Still
just
a
doesn't
9
make
on
sense.
10 for catalog. That's high, but
Does it-
guys, let us know.
89 no, 89.
I know, that's what I said.
You said 9 on 10.
I said, well, close to a 9 on 10 if you round it off, I guess.
well,
but
shoulda, coulda, woulda.
anyways, let's move on, guys. Next up, we have DaBaby. What do you think I gave DaBaby, all right? Because
I know how you feel about him, and
Yes.
I really think that.
Keep in mind-
you probably okay. My final guess for you, I'd say you probably went, I'd say mid 50s, so 55, I think.
Okay. You're not far off. I feel like you gave DaBaby a 60, even though I don't think he's a passable rapper. I feel like
Well,
you
you're
probably gave him a
close.
60.
You're close.
ChatGPT decided to give a 75. They're definitely tweaking for that, bro. Come on.
No, that's not a good one.
Come
All right, so let me get into my scores. So lyricism, I went 62. Flow, I went 75. Production, I went 70. Versatility, I went 65. And then after that, discography, I went 65 as well. That was my card for an overall rating of 65.
Unbelievable. Absolute blasphemy. Let me get through mine. Lyricism, I gave 64. I feel like besides, verses on Under the Sun or something like the intro off of Kirk, DaBaby's bars revolve around him stealing hoes and swerving in his whips. Flow, I gave 40. He's literally,
That's savage.
he's the rapper that has 4 different flows that he can alternate from in a wheel. He just spins the wheel. He's like, okay, today I'm choosing this flow. Throughout his whole catalog,
explain
in
to
my
you my
opinion.
reasoning for the flow.
Versatility, I gave a 38.
Well, your production first.
Production first, 56. Beats are repetitive, basic trap beats by Jetson Made and a couple of other guys that don't have any real textures or personality that's unique. Then versatility, 38. I feel like DaBaby is the Whopper of the rap game in the sense that you can go to any Burger King and that Whopper is going to taste the same every single time that you order it. Discography, I went with 50. And I feel like I was generous with that because he doesn't have anything close to a classic. Kirk is a decent album. Even his older work before Baby on Baby, I'm not a big fan of. Overall score, 50. How could you say DaBaby gets a pass as a rapper? He's one of the worst that we've seen in our generation, bro. Like coming up and listening to music.
Did you listen to Under the Sun? How could you call this
One
guy?
verse, yeah. I gave him
could
credit for that song.
How could you possibly look at a guy that actually had a really sick takeoff early on in his career? And yes, I understand. His
fell
sound
off.
got boring. His sound got boring. Jetson Made its productions. I don't think aged the best. I don't think DaBaby's flow was able to switch up past 2019. But I'm not going to discredit an entire career just because he's delivered me bad albums over the past couple of years.
Bad album
So
after
not only
bad
that,
album.
if you're saying that he is
How many flows does he have, though?
if
How
you're
do you give a
saying-
65 for flow?
I genuinely think that when you have to look at the new generation of rappers, plays alongside the Annalie Choppas, plays alongside that cast of guys, and those guys are
That's
not bad
insulting.
rappers. Those guys are not. Of course, it's not. I
Annalie
understand.
Choppa's better.
I understand that the memes ended up having a certain taint on him, but regardless, though, give him the credit where it's due. He does have his albums. He does have them. I'm sorry, listening to old shit like Pull Up Music, listening back to all of the old projects and mixtapes he used to have, there was a lot of stuff in there. So I went 65 with
That's
it.
crazy, man. I don't know what you're on today, but let's keep on going. Next up, we have Wheezy, Lil Wayne, Louisiana. Guess my score.
Guess your score. I
For
think it's
Weezy F
around
Baby.
Eminem. I'd say probably give me an 88.
That's fair. That's reasonable. I think you gave a 90 to Wayne. You always tend to overshoot above me, so that's what I'm gonna fucking go with.
That's fair as well.
We'll
but
see what happens. ChatGPT also
Yeah.
gives a 90 to Lil Wayne, which is
Wow,
probably
okay.
their best rating.
That's probably their best rating that we have so far. But okay, let me go through my statistics. Lyricism, I went 95. I think one of the best punchline rappers of all time. Classic song concepts. Still fantastic in his day now with the pen, so I went with 95. Flow, I went 95. I think his punchlines and his flow work together perfectly. I don't think one is stronger than the other per se, so I tried to get an even score on that one. Production, I went 83. I don't think he has the strongest production ever, and I've heard some reasonably bad beats from Lil Wayne within his career, but for the most part, it's way above average. It's great most of the time. You're going to really enjoy it, so I went 83 there. Versatility, I went 80. I think that he's able to attack so many different styles, flows, all the ways that he's able to, switch up his hook, the way that he's able to do even the melodic stuff, earlier back on, that was major for him, so I went 80, and then discography, I went 89.
Okay, interesting. Let me go through mine. So for lyricism, I have a 97. Obviously, he's not as
score.
conceptually meticulous as a Lupe Fiasco or as a Ka, but like you said, best punchline rapper ever. And also, if I was a rapper in the 2000s or 2010s, I would be scared to drop a hit song just because Wayne might attack it and sort of take it over and put out a better version. He's that good and that dangerous as a rapper. Next up for flow, I have 93. A lot of unique flows, and it's difficult to find two songs where he's using the exact same flow, in my opinion. He's always trying to change it up. Listen to the Drought 3 if you don't believe me. Production, though, I'm going to have to go with an 84 on this one. His work with Manny Fresh was pretty cool. Going into the early days, just looking at the unique drum patterns, the bounce beats.
The Southern influence.
That was a nice sound. And even when he stepped down, he still got classics from people like Bangladesh and more. But versatility, I have an 80 just because he's not the best at versatility. We saw with the Rock album Rebirth, that didn't turn out too well. Also, if you listen to something like Dedication 3, bro, the auto-tune is disastrous. Looking at discography, 84. Best, mixtape artist of all time, but does have those duds. Overall, 88. I think you guessed that one right, eh?
Absolutely. Well,
got
I said
that
I was
right
an
for me.
88 as well, so I think we agree on the overall score, but I think some of the biggest jumps that we have here is the discography, all right? So
Again with the discog.
Absolutely, +5. So listen, what I value in discography is not only quality, but the quantity. I think that Lil Wayne is influential in the way that he was able to actually release projects. If you look at the frequency and the quality at the same time, they were both on par. I think that if you want to talk about mixtapes, you have the Drought series, you have everything that comes in with the dedication stuff, you have the No Ceiling series, you have iconic series is only within his mixtape catalog, then you go into his studio albums, and you have one of the greatest studio album series of all time with the Carters. I mean, listen, you have the stuff like Funeral, you have the stuff like a Rebirth,
yeah,
but
you
come
do.
on, again, we're not knocking 20 points for two albums.
Well, it's not just two albums. That's what I was going to say is that, I don't even want to have this fucking debate with you because when it comes to discography, we obviously look at it two different ways. I look at it from a complete package standpoint where I'm really looking at every single project, and you're sort of highlighting the classics and the runs that these artists had, which is fine. If you want to look at it just for the peaks,
But I am though.
that's
I know.
cool.
I
but I'm
noted his
looking
bad
I'm looking at
albums.
the valleys as well,
Well,
not
I
just
mean,
the peaks.
absolutely, and that's why I have to knock off 11 points. But when you have multiple iconic series within the rap genre, within your discography, that's definitely legendary for
All
me.
right,
So
let's move on now to Jack Harlow. An interesting rapper, just because I don't really know where you're gonna go with this. But what do you think I gave as a rating?
okay, so I think you went with, you don't really like Jack's music. I think it went 67 more or less.
Wow, 67? No, come on, I'm not that harsh. You think I'm that harsh of a critic?
Okay, what do you think I gave him?
You like Jack a lot. I know you were a big fan of Jack when you fucking put it in your top 10 albums of the year.
I like that's what they all say as well.
Give me 77 is what you gave Jack Harlow.
No, sir. What did ChatGPT give? Jack Harlow?
ChatGPT, if you could believe it, 85.
There we go. Shout out Guillermo.
Yeah, Guillermo's bumping that first class. He's got it on repeat for sure.
All right, but let me go through my statistics. First one, lyricism, I went 75. Flow, I went 80. I think that Flow is probably the nicest technical ability that he has, especially when he gets into those smooth pockets and cadences. I think he does it really well. As far as production goes, I went 80 as well. I think that you do have certain production highlights like a Nail Tech, like a Tyler Hero, like a What's Poppin'. Even looking at stuff like Baxter Avenue, for example, or 21C Delta, I always felt like he did have strong production with a lot of good atmosphere in it. Then you get into the versatility. This is where I went kind of down on it. I went to a 67 with it because I really only enjoyed Jack Harlow for his rapping. I never really liked his singing. You could hear it on Come Home the Kids Miss You. I never liked his R&B stuff. It just doesn't hit with me, and some people might like it, but it's not for me. And then discography, I went 68. I think this is one of my harshest scores today, just because I feel like when you look at Jack Harlow, he's not necessarily an album experience type of dude. I like Jack, man. I like That's What They All Say, but Come Home the Kids Miss You and his earlier mixtapes like Confetti, they're all right. They're nothing special, so I gave him a 68.
So overall score?
74.
74. I was 3 off. Okay, that's not too bad.
All right, go for it.
My scores, I have 69 when it comes to lyricism. Obviously, he's matured and proved that he was a better writer than we knew him to be after Jackman, so I have to give him a bit of points there, but it's very rare that you get songs like Common Ground or Blame on Me throughout his whole catalog, in my opinion. Flow, I have a 75. I think it is one of his best attributes. I love the smoother, more melodic flows on something like a 21C Delta, but then you also get those rapid fire flows on a They Don't Love It, which is fire as well. But still, it's a cool range of flows, but it's not that diverse.
Even something like Route 66 is nice for his flow, too.
Production, I went with 76. He has run-of-the-mill production. A lot of the production from his earlier work, the beats that like 2-for-1 produced, are Big Head. They're very standard trap beats. Obviously, when you have songs like Tyler Hero and you have Boy Wonder come into the mix, you'll get an anthem out of that, but overall, it's a bit lackluster, even though I like the Chipmunk Soul and Jackman. Versatility, 70. Something I factor into this, too, is originality, and I feel like Jack Harlow sometimes has a hard time, I think, finding his own voice and sound, to be honest with you. And like you said, his singing isn't all that great, and I feel like besides the braggadocious party rap and like the pop attempts, where can he really maneuver towards? You know what I mean? He doesn't really have that many avenues to explore, in my opinion. Discography, 65. He makes music to sort of chase hits or give people some fun party vibes, but again, not an album artist, in my opinion. Overall score, 71.
I think we're on par with everything low-key here.
Yeah, I don't really disagree with much, to be honest. I mean, Jack Harlow is just like, he's an average rapper. You know what I mean?
He's good, though. I like his stuff. I like certain
He's
things
all
from him.
right.
I gave Jackman top 10 of the top 10 albums of the year so far, actually, on the audio podcast. You guys could go check that out. But let's go on to Denzel Curry. So, I know you love Denzel Curry. I know you've been following him for a very long time, and you've been talking about him as a top tier MC for a long time now. So I'm gonna guess an 88.
An 88, that's a reasonable guess. I think you went, I don't know, 87, maybe just a notch below that. ChatGPT though says 90.
There we go.
I think he can get there. I don't think he's quite there yet, but
soon.
He's building towards that.
All right, let me go into my attributes. So, lyricism, I gave him an 89. Flow, I gave him an 89. Again, I love Denzel's flows, and I feel like there's always a new arsenal for a new package and a new album. When you get into something like Imperial, you'll find a lot more aggressive and sort of in-your-face, more brash sort of Denzel flows, where in comparison with Melt My Eyes, it's a lot more meditative, for the exception of a couple of tracks. But regardless, though, I went 89 with Flow. As far as production goes, I go 86. I think Denzel has incredible beat selection. All throughout his catalog, you get Florida flavor in there, you get trap, you get metal, you get soul flips, you get so much variety when it comes to Denzel's soundscapes. As far as his versatility goes, I gave him 85. I think he's very strong on this side because when it comes down to Denzel, he has more meditative performances, like let's say a Melt Session #1, in comparison to something more hype, let's say, and more in your face, like an Ultimate, which I know is a smash hit, but still, it's a fantastic rapping performance. As far as his discography goes, I don't think he has a miss in his discography. I gave him an 87. You want mixtapes, you have it. You want a good debut, you have it. You want an album of the year contender, Melt My Eyes and Taboo, you have them. Overall score 87.
Okay, I was one off. You didn't get mine correctly, though, but let's keep on going with my scores. For lyricism, I have 87. He's proven to be a threatening lyricist since the nostalgic 64 days, in my opinion, and he's just gotten better and better over time. If you want to question those abilities, listen to Once Upon a Time Freestyle or listen to anything off I'm On My Eyes. But next up, we have Flow. I gave 90 for Denzel's flow just because of that arsenal of flows that he have. You go to a song like Switch It Up, almost every 2 lines there's a new fucking flow being exhibited, which is absolutely masterful. And I I love the fact that when he started off, he was inspired by Juicy J, inspired by Goody Mob and Outkast flows. But then as time went on, he sort of passed those Southern influences and created and elevated his own flows, which was really cool to see. Production, 83. I think he has great beats, and it was cool to see him deliver something like Taboo, which was a concept album over mostly trap beats. Versatility, 85. And I think this one can grow to a 90 once he drops that R&B album and maybe gives us more metal cuts like we got for something like the Rage Against the Machine cover, which was amazing. Then on discography, 86. Like you said, doesn't have a single miss, and he matches that quality with quantity, dropping almost every single year since 2015, which is spectacular. My score is an 86. I thought I was going to go higher than you here. So it's cool to see you gave it an 87.
I really value Denzel Curry. I think
Yeah.
that he's a top form rapper and that there's very few people that are able to pass that sort of talent.
So yeah, I don't
level.
have anything to really question you on here.
I don't have either.
Yeah.
I think we're around the same ballpark for this one. But let's go on to Nicki Minaj, a very iconic rapper, someone that's been making hits for a long time. But I know you have your nitpicks with Nicki.
I do.
But are they enough to weigh down the legendary run that she's been on? I say you probably went around a 76.
76. That's pretty fucking close, bro. That's like one off, low key. I'll get to it later, but I think you went. Again, you're always a bit more generous than I am. I think 80 on Nicki.
Well, you're close,
Close
but not
again,
there.
eh?
So let me
Close
go into
but
my
no cigar.
attributes.
ChatGPT score.
Yeah, go for it.
Try to guess this one too.
Probably like in the 90s. Probably a 90.
90.
Yeah, there we go.
I think that's the narrative, is that as much as I love Nicki and as impactful as she is, I think she is one of the more overrated rappers from the 2010s decade.
Very reasonable
Yeah.
to say. But let me get into my attributes. Lyricism, 75. I think it's above average. Do I think it's the greatest thing hip hop's ever discovered? No. I think that what's cool about her lyricism is the way that she's able to keep it quirky and refreshing, but there are certain flows that low-key just get annoying at certain points. Like,
Flows don't matter here, though, right?
well, we'll see. Oh, sorry, my lyricism.
Yeah.
My bad. Bro, I was reading my long thing. Let me go on to my lyricism.
Yeah.
My bad. So I had a 75 on my lyricism, and actually, hold on. Wait a second.
What's wrong with the lyricism here?
No, I fucked up my numbers on this note. My
Okay.
bad. Okay, so listen, lyricism, I ended up having a 78, and then for her flow, I ended up having an 80. So
Okay, cool.
they're more close to each other. I'm sorry, bro. My Google Doc just glitched out.
All
again.
good.
But okay, for my lyricism, I think that, listen, she does have her raunchy lyrics and she has her stuff, but when it comes to punchlines, she's pretty cool. She's able to do her thing, but I was never too impressed with her stuff overall, and then sometimes you just see that she's trying to carry out a song for too long and you're just not enjoying it all that much. As far as the flow goes, for flow, I gave her around that 80 mark just because I feel like, well, you could really look at what she's trying to do, and she does have a great arsenal of flows, but I think it's a bit more on like the versatility side that I maybe favor her a bit more. Production 82, versatility 82. So this is where I'm going to get a bit more generous here. I think I love the way that she's able to be so dynamic on a track. I love her voice, and she's extremely well trained in autotune.
Yeah.
I've always enjoyed her autotune. I don't feel like it's ever been out of place. And then discography, I went 72. I think her discography is a bit overhyped, but still a decent score.
All right, my lyricism for Nicki is going to be 78. Obviously, you have certain songs like a Seeing Green or even a Want Some More where she's spazzing and giving you that dope wordplay. Obviously, she's a student of Wayne. She's going to give that to you. But most of the time, even her most celebrated verses, like a Monster or No Frauds, it's more the animated delivery and the moans and the grunts that really win you over more than the bars themselves. So that's why I didn't go too high of a score. Flow, I have 82. You do have fire performances like Red Ruby, The Sleaze, where you have like 5+ flows on one singular track. But more often than not, I am hearing a lot of repeated flows, especially lately, with like Barbie World and a lot of the features she's been doing as of late. You kind of know what to expect. But then production, 75. I feel like no one ever talks about Nicki Minaj's production just because there isn't that much to say. It's not that memorable overall. Then versatility, I had to go with an 84 on this. I love the different cadences.
We're on the same ballpark.
I love the voices that she's able to morph into as well. Also the Roman alter ego and the different personalities that she could tap into. I think this is her best asset. But then discography, 68. Only 4 studio albums. Pink Friday is not a classic album whatsoever. And yeah, I just don't think there's that much quality within that catalog. Overall score, 77. What did you have again for your score?
My score, I went 82.
Wow, I said 80, I think, for you. Shit.
I went 82.
That's high.
No, it's not high.
It's not that high. No, I know.
It's just that you're
It's
a
not that
bastard
high.
with these.
I'm not a bastard.
Yes,
Come
you are.
on.
You're putting on your thinking glasses and like
No,
you're like
I'm
you're
just
going
being
through
honest
it.
with the
You're like
scores.
the teacher no one likes. You're like the teacher that no one likes. But I respect it though because you have to be harsh.
You're like a
against-
teacher's pet, though. You're just giving away free points left and right,
I
bro,
say,
and
where
just
did the-
catering to like
Nicki Minaj at
rappers.
an 82 is extremely generous.
For that one, yes, but some other scores were quite questionable,
What
like
was
the
my
baby.
most what was-
DaBaby, bro. You gave like a fucking, what did you give, like a 68 or something?
65. He's
on
barely
now.
above passable.
Yeah,
He's
how is
barely
he
above
passable? He's not passable
He's
as a rapper.
absolutely passable.
Definitely not.
And regardless, though, my Eminem score was fair. I think you were okay. I
Yeah.
think that you went way too hard on the baby. Though.
I don't think
it's
so.
that deep.
I think
It's
it is.
never
But
that
guys,
deep.
let us know down in the comments. Is DaBaby a passable rapper? And which rapper should we bring in for the next time we do this? Thank you guys, as always, so much for watching. And we'll catch you guys next time. Peace.